high score group, the Nets or the Lakers?
Well, this shouldn't even be a question. Look, it's going to be the Nets, right? You're looking at Kevin Durant, the greatest scorer to ever touch the basketball. James Harden, one of the greatest scorers to ever touch the basketball. Kyrie Irving, that's what he do, get buckets. When you look at the Los Angeles Lakers, Russ and Braun, they love to do what? They can score the ball, but they love to facilitate and get others involved. This is why I say Carmelo Anthony is going to be able to get off. This is why Dwight Howard is going to be catching lobs at the basket. This is why a guy like Monk is going to be able to do his thing along with Ellington. Like, the ball is going to be spread around in LA. When with the Brooklyn Nets, it's going to be those three that's going to be ball dominant and taking shot attempts every time down the floor.
Despite all the injuries, despite all the COVID schedule changes, despite all of the difficulty learning on the fly with the midseason trade, the Brooklyn Nets had the #1 offense in the history of the NBA last year. And at the end of the day, 3 is greater than 2. They have a whole bunch of high-volume three-point shooters. And while LeBron and Westbrook are 2 of the best drivers of the basketball in history, they are not great three-point shooters. This, like Perk said, is a no-brainer. The Nets are better. But the Lakers are going to be better on defense, and that's why they got a chance.
Well, I think it's going. Well, go ahead, Perk.
And you know, Wendy, I was all in with you, and then you lost me. Because I keep telling y'all keep overemphasizing three-point shooting. We watched Joe Harris disappear in the playoffs. Like, we watched the Bucks hit the side of the backboard last year.
Perk, you're talking about Joe Harris. You're talking about all this stuff.
Shooting.
The question was, which group will have the highest scoring combination? Is it the Nets or the Lakers?
I know what the question was.
Question was. All right, well, we're going to get to another question that you can hopefully answer. The Nets and Lakers are the title favorites according to Caesars Sportsbook. The Nets are a plus 225 to win the title, and the Lakers are plus 400. Now, Perk, since you are a gambling expert, who do you think is more likely to win the title?
Well, first of all, I never said that I was a gambling expert, but if I had to pick one, I'm going with the 2 guys that already won a title together, and that's LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Look, both of those guys have shown us that when it matters the most, when healthy, they can rise to the occasion. And now you add Russell Westbrook and all the other pieces that they have around them, along with their wisdom, along with their IQ and Rajon Rondo. And by the way, Let's not think about this, right? We got to think about this for a moment. The Lakers are going to have the best bench in the NBA. The Lakers are going to have the best bench in the NBA. When you talk about Melo, Rondo, Monk, Dwight Howard, all these guys that are coming in off the bench, the Lakers are going to kill other people's benches when it comes down to it. I have the Lakers winning the championship.
Yeah, I mean, Perk, you can make the case. I just happen to think the Nets' case is stronger because I think that they have more firepower, and I think they're going to have continuity on their side. Lakers have 12 new players. I mean, I know anything is possible with LeBron, but that is an incredible ask to have a team with 12 new players win a title. I mean, the baseline would be the Celtics, the team you were on, which had a new team and won. But that's a big ask. And the thing about it is, though, I have no idea where the Nets are going to be in a mental space-wise, where they're going to be in a physical health-wise, what's going to happen during the season. But if all things are equal, which I know they won't be, I think the Nets are the better team.
The Nets are Perk. The Nets are the better team. They are the better team. They are the more talented team. They have all the necessary pieces to get it done. They were 2 inches away from, in my opinion, winning a championship this year with 2 guys, one guy out and another guy at 30% of his ability. That's how great Kevin Durant is. Let's not go to a wide shot of Perk, please. That's not going to be great.
Yeah.
Let's not go. We got to go, Perk. But look, coming up, which young NBA star would you like to see?
Alton joins us. The jump starts now. It's Friday, and I'm joined by NBA 2K22 star Kendrick Perkins, along with the host of the Hoop Collective podcast, Brian Windhorst. And we start right here in Los Angeles, where the Clippers broke ground on their brand new arena in Inglewood. The plan is for the arena to be ready for the 2025 season. Ramon Shelburne asked Clippers owner Steve Ballmer about winning over the LA fan base.
You guys went further than the Lakers last year. And it was weird because around town it was almost like they didn't embrace it. How did you come down on that? Did you understand that dynamic of, the Clippers are winning, like the Lakers are out? What do you do about that?
I think for enough years the Clippers were bad enough, everybody could just kind of ignore the Clippers. We're good now, and we're going to be good year in and year out. We're going to build our own building, more of our own identity, more of our own personality. And we got our fans. We use our expression, LA our way. And we're building our own presence, identity. If they feel threatened, that's okay. I mean, we're doing good.
All right, you're going to see more of that interview with Ramona on The Jump next week. Now, Perk, how will this new arena impact the Clippers' identity?
Well, I mean, it's hard walking into the Staples Center if you're a Clipper fan or if you're a player or even if you have any parts of the Clipper organization and watching all those banners in the Staples Center and none of them are yours. So it gives them identity in that way. As far as them taking over or demanding half of the city, it's not going to happen until they win a few championships. Until then, they can have their own arena. It could be popping. They could do concerts. And like Steve Ballmer say, they could be good. But if they're not hanging banners and winning championships, it's always going to be, the city is always going to be for the Los Angeles Lakers. So the Clippers have a lot of work to do. It's not just being good, it's winning championships. But I think this is a great start for us being able to have their own arena, having their own identity, and they don't have to walk into the Staples Center seeing all the Lakers' accomplishments.
Yeah, no bricks and mortar or marketing campaign is going to make the Lakers any more the kings in LA until somebody else takes the titles from them, like Perk said. I have to say, though, what could happen when this arena opens is some people who don't want to pay the prices at the Laker game or maybe want a different arena experience could want to come to Clipper games. This arena design is different than any other design we've seen in the NBA right now. It's very steep. It'll be basketball only. So the 20th row, they say, is going to be 50 feet closer to the court almost than the 20th row in Staples Center. At one end of the court where the opposition benches, there's going to be 51 rows of continuous seats, no suite breaks, no decks, that they're calling the wall, that they hope will intimidate opponents. And so this arena will help the Clippers differentiate themselves from just having a different court and having to drape over the banners. But at the most important level, the material level, it's done with victories.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I was on the Brooklyn Nets. At the time, it was Jersey Nets when they announced the move to Brooklyn. And when you talk about an identity, because there you got the Brooklyn, they have a beautiful arena. You have to start building your own identity. Yes, in LA, you got to win championships. That's what this city is about. But the more you build your own identity, your own arena, stuff that fans can relate to, it's huge. We've seen the change over in Brooklyn already. Their fan base is growing. It is not the Knicks. The Knicks are the #1 team in town. They will always be most popular team in town unless the Brooklyn Nets go on like a 6 championship run. But ultimately, you can see that the Brooklyn Nets are starting to build their own identity, and that starts with the arena. So I love what the Clippers and Ballmer are doing. Our next thing that we're going to talk about today is this summer forecast that we're still trying to figure out who is running this, because Perk had some issues yesterday with it. The Sixers were the voters' top pick, the most drama this season, followed by the Lakers and Bulls. Now, Brian, do you agree that Philly will be the drama center of the NBA this season?
Well, certainly in the early season, but it won't be because Ben is there. It'll probably be because they keep getting asked about Simmons not being there. I don't vote in this, but if there were two things I'm watching, I'm keeping an eye on the Dallas Mavericks, because we know that last year that Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis didn't always have a smooth ride. They're not listed here, so I would watch those two. And then down in Orlando as well, where they had a franchise point guard, he thought, in Cole Anthony, and then they drafted Jalen Suggs. I know those won't be high profile and getting talked about on the jump every day, but to me, that's where I see genuine friction, not, uncomfortable questions of a player not being there.
Yeah, I mean, look, who's ever behind, what's called again, Richard?
The forecast, the
what?
summer forecast.
Yeah, the summer forecast, they keep getting it wrong, just like the Weather Channel. Here's the problem that I have. How do you leave the New Orleans Pelicans off of that list? For the simple fact, I think that they're going to have the most turmoil. Because, one, this is nothing that nobody is telling me. This is something that I know, okay? They come second to the New Orleans Saints, right? And when you look at them having a young superstar and making it Zion Williamson, you can't afford to lose him if you're the New Orleans Pelicans, like you did with Anthony Davis. And when I think of it, they're going to become the new version of the Housewives thing. You know, they have new Housewives of Atlanta and a Housewife of Potomac.
I've never watched any of the Housewives.
Listen. They're going to have the Housewives of the Pelicans, and producing the show is going to be David Griffin, okay? If they don't get things together. We already been hearing things about Zion possibly leaving the Pelicans. We already been hearing those rumors. If they don't get it together and start winning games over there in New Orleans and figure out a way to get them on the same level or close to the same level as the New Orleans Saints, then we're going to be talking about them all season long. And I think they're going to have the most turmoil this season.
All right, well, this isn't Bravo. This is ESPN, so we're going to bring it back to basketball. Wendy, what is your thoughts about the Lakers and Nets when we start talking about the drama with the summer forecast? You still think those two teams are lower on the list?
You know, I don't see the drama happening within the team itself. I could see drama happening with expectations. The Lakers have 12 new players, and they have so many stars and so many names on their roster. The expectations are going to be that they're going to run out 20-5 or something, and maybe they will. So I think those expectations will happen outside the team. And again, with the Nets, I think it's more about, is everybody going to be healthy, accounted for? Are Kyrie and James Harden going to sign their extensions? I don't think we're going to see drama within the team. I think it'll be external. I see other places where I'm a little worried about it more than those two places.
Yeah, I didn't want to ask you that question.
Well,
anyway, you got something to say?
No, it's fine. But I just want to ask you a question. You talk about how I know about the Real Housewives or whatever, but how you know what channel it comes on?
Hey, stop asking me personal questions. Now we're going to switch gears and we're going to talk about Ben Simmons' opening night for Philly is October 20th. Our forecast gives Simmons a 45% chance to be on the Sixers opening day roster. According to the forecast, the three most likely destinations are the Blazers, the Kings, and the Timberwolves. First, where will Simmons be on opening night?
He'll be in Philly. He'll be on the Philly roster. Look, we can see the whole. Look, if James Harden had to start the season off in a Rockets uniform, I don't know what makes Ben Simmons think he's going to have anything different, right? When you look at Ben Simmons, his trade value is not there. And when you hear reports and when you hear the organization of the 76ers come out and say, hey, we're not trading Ben, and we're going to keep him on the roster until we find something that helps or benefits us as well, that means that they're willing to wait it out and they're willing to find him. So I think, I believe that he will be a Philadelphia 76er opening night.
On opening night, I think he's going to be in Los Angeles filming jump shot videos. He may be on the roster, but I don't think he's going to be there. Both sides are dug in here. And you guys are right. You know, I think they will find him. I think they will find him, Perk. But here's the thing. The way Ben's contract is structured, by the first of the month, by October 1st, he'll have been paid $16 million of his $33 million salary. So they can find him. They can put IOUs in his mailbox at the facility if they want. But I don't think that that's going to be the deterrent that they think it will be in the short term because of all the money he's forwarded. And by the way, they could fine him $7 million. And if he gets traded, his new team is not going to uphold that fine. They're going to give him the money back. back. So I definitely think that both sides are dug in. I see no resolution soon. There will be a resolution at some point, and we'll all move on with our lives. But I don't think Ben Simmons plays another game in a Sixer uniform.
Okay, but wait, Wendy, just break this down for me one more time. I know about people that have certain clauses in their contract. There was a big fella in San Antonio that used to get all of his money on July 1st. So, like, he gets $16 million, so he gets half of his contract the first day of the season. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, you asked me
He got
that?
25%.
I was asking Wendy, not you.
He got 25. You guys didn't get this clause. You guys should have got this clause. You should learn about compound interest. He gets 25% of his salary in July at the start of the league year, and 25% of his salary on October 1st. It's about $16.5 million. Then his paycheck started coming November 15th. So the first paycheck they could start fining him in is not till November 15th. And he's already got the $16.5 million is his account. Now, again, they could fine him until the cows come home and fine him through that $16 million that they still owe him and technically put IOUs on his account. But he's already got half of the money in a war chest. And then he also figures that if he gets traded, he could work out an arrangement with his new team. So I'm not saying that Ben's going to come out of this hole, but no, the concept of the fines hurting him, I don't think it's going to happen for a long time.
Well, this is what I got to say, Brian. And here's the thing, right? When we talk about fines, I remember when I used to get fined. I'm pretty sure, Richard, you remember when you used to get fined, that the fines come out before it actually hits your bank account. Before your check hit your bank account, the team has a way of getting their money first if they're going to fine you. Am I right?
Yeah, no, I agree. No, see, this is one thing that I want to say, though. Brian, both of us understand compound interest. We were just never good enough to get that clause in our contract. Or at least I wasn't. Maybe Perk was. Yeah, Perk doesn't care. Anyway, coming up, Carmelo said that he and LeBron...
My locker, which was a great thing, because I probably had trouble as well.
Oh, well, look, only thing I'm
look at that ceremony.
Look at that
ceremony.
Yeah. Look, that was a great championship. Ours is the greatest championship of all time. But what I will say is this. It's not about how you pop, it's about how you drink it. My favorite quote of all time is from David Robinson. He says that I don't drink champagne, I wear it.
How would you know? You drink
Perk,
what long?
What are you talking about? That was just my song. I saw a quote. It was a great. Yeah, there's my guy today.
Hey, Perk, that night Richard announced his retirement in that locker room and then played for 3 more years.
Yeah, well, the money kept coming. Speaking of money coming, confidence. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander told GQ, I'm the Black Steve Nash. He didn't necessarily mean playing style, but more that he wants to be one of the greatest point guards ever. Brian, do you like the confidence from SGA?
Yeah, although his team is not going to be Steve Nash's team for a long time. And what I will say to Shea, something we see all the time in the NBA, when you graduate to a max contract player, yeah, those checks get real big and they're going to be real nice. But so do the expectations. Shea's no longer a player of promise. He's a player of expectation. And hey, he did great last year, being the leader of that team in the games he played before he was injured. But he's going to have a different reality. So I'm glad he's embracing it by some of the stuff he said. Yeah, miss vacation. Mitchell Robinson said he put up 20 pounds this offseason from 280 up to 260 per. How is that extra weight going to help him be better at center?
Oh, it's going to help him tremendously. I mean, we already know he could jump out the gym, but being able to bang down low, especially in the Eastern Conference, when you have to go against a guy like Joel and be and things to that nature. But it just speaks volumes to the culture of the New York Knicks. And it speaks volumes to him also as well, being out for an extended period of time last season. He was like, hold on, our team is good. We're moving in the right direction. I need to get better myself. I'm proud of the young man.
The Knicks signed Nerlens Noel, and so he's going to want to get paid too.
Oh, well, yeah, they get that money then. Meg, skirt. Another day, another ankle-breaking snatchback from Erica Wheeler. Remember, she got Sue Bird the other day too. Brian, what is a good nickname for her?
Ooh.
I don't know, but we don't shame people who play defense on this show on my watch.
No,
she
yes,
tried to
we
stay
do.
in front of her. She made a great move. We don't shame people. Nope, I don't do it.
No. We don't
Perk do
shame.
it.
We
I
don't.
don't shame people who play defense.
Yeah, well, I do.
Listen, I don't know if y'all saw the clip of me dribbling on the street outside of my house, but this is kind of how it looks like.
No, it couldn't have been any further away from that perk. Couldn't have been any further away. Do not watch that. But look, we're going to switch gears. It's now the time to talk about Carmelo Anthony. He sat down with GQ recently and covered a lot of topics, including finally being paired with his longtime friend LeBron James in LA. The duo has known each other for over 20 years, and their on-court chemistry this upcoming season has been a topic of debate. Here's Melo to GQ. Years ago, we were all in our own lanes with our own team. It probably wouldn't have worked. But now we're at where we're at now in our career, later in our career, more mature, more appreciative of each other and the game, having the same goals. We are going to enjoy this moment. The timing is perfect. Now, Brian, do you like the LeBron and Melo pairing on the court?
You know, here's the thing. I think it's going to be great for them to be with each other, to drink wine with each other and everything all year long. But if you're a Lakers fan, you have to realize Carmelo Anthony is a minimum contract playing role player. He's going to have nights where he's going to hit some spot-up jumpers. He's going to have other nights where he fades into the wallpaper. As long as you have that expectation and understanding, anything that he gives you above that, you should be happy about. And I do agree with him. Melo, in his heart of hearts, believed in 2003 that he should have been the #1 pick. There were people, including Melo, who thought he should have won Rookie of the Year over LeBron James because he led his team to the playoffs and LeBron didn't. He's always been a proud guy. I have no doubt that they would have worked early together. And I do think it could be a nice pairing now. But remember, it's a complementary piece. It's not a running mate.
Yeah, and absolutely. And look, you grow, right? You grow throughout your career. Once you accomplish all the individual things that you need to accomplish, we have to remember, Melo didn't work with Russell Westbrook and Paul George. He didn't work with James Harden and Chris Paul. And that's okay because at that point in time, Melo didn't want to accept a lesser role, or he didn't realize that he wasn't a #1 option. And that's okay because even going back to the 2008 Celtics, Paul, Ray, and KG all had to realize that, hey, we have accomplished everything except win the championship, and the timing was perfect because they all had accomplished everything individually that they needed to. The only thing that was left was to win a championship. And I think Melo's role on this Lakers team will be him coming off the bench, him being featured in the offense off the bench. I think he would thrive well in that system, and I think he will pair along LeBron James just fine.
Yeah, and look, no disrespect to the Portland Trailblazers with Dame and the way they play. But when you play with Russell, Rondo, and Bron, you are going to get open shots. And Carmelo is a great open shot shooter. I don't even know how you want to say it. When he gets that space, he knocks it out. And he can still do some things in ISO. He still has that game, but that's not what they need from him. But Carmelo is a force, and he will be great. As far as the Rookie of the Year thing, you're right. I was on the Carmelo Anthony bandwagon. He took his team to the postseason in the Western Conference. And look, LeBron had all the numbers, 25-5. It was like Oscar Robertson, him and Michael Jordan are the only rookies to ever average that. But there is no doubt about Carmelo's competitiveness and where he believes he is. Go ahead, Bert.
Well, I'll tell you what we don't need on this show, and that's you having your shirt open all the way down to your belly. But that's what we don't need. But go ahead, carry on.
Oh, well, look, I got one more button for you. But coming up on the...
Yeah, happy to be on. You guys are doing a heck of a job.
All right, well, thank you. Look, I want to jump right into it. The Kings fan base is desperate to get back into the postseason after a 15-year drought. What do you feel is the key to getting your team over the hump this year?
Well, it starts with consistency and hard work. So to me, that's building on where we're coming from out of last season, and really the work that happened this off season, I'm sure you guys know Rico Hines, but he's in charge of our player development. He and the rest of the staff have done an amazing job of having these guys in the gym all summer long, Tyrese has put on muscle. De'Aaron's put on muscle, and the skill work and habits that are being built as we continue to grow this team are eventually going to lead us back into the playoffs.
All right. Now, De'Aaron Fox set a career high in scoring last season. What do you think the ceiling is for Fox with the Kings?
Well, the ceiling's as high as he wants it to be, because for him, he's one of those unique players that when he's playing at his highest level, he can be a defensive stopper. There's not many people that can keep him in front. He can get to the free throw line. And what really opens up a lot of that is when he's shooting the ball well or not. So that's been something he's focused on a lot this offseason. Something we're going to need him to do is continue to look to be aggressive and knock down those shots. He averaged, 7, 8 assists a game last year as well. So we need him to continue to play make. But the shooting and then really getting into the ball and helping our defense, because that's what killed us last year was our defense. And those are things that as a leader, we really need him to step up and do for us this year.
Coach Luke Walton, Big Perk here. Look, I'm glad that you're on, and I know it's hard for you to focus because it's hard for me to focus right now looking at Richard with his shirt open with 3 buttons unbuttoned. But look,
It's casual Friday, Perk. It's casual Friday.
Yeah, listen, I'm not talking to you, but look, Coach, I want to get on the guy that you drafted, you guys that y'all drafted at number 9, Davion Mitchell, who won Summer League MVP. I want you to get into talking about your expectations for us with him this season, and will you see like him fitting in for us the rotation?
Yeah, it's great question, Park. And for us, a big thing going into this offseason was really trying to help out our defense. And we watched a ton of film on Davion and did a ton of background on him. And I think Monty did a great job of adding another player that's ready to play now, that's ready to help win like he did with Tyrese last season. And since Davion's been here, you go out, and I know Summer League, but for us, that's we want to win that. We want to win everything we're doing and continue to build that type of mentality. And this young man has won in high school, he's won in college, and now we expect him to help us win in the pros. And he's somebody that's going to play right away, and he's going to help us. Really with on the defensive end, but I've been pleasantly surprised what he's able to do on offense as well.
Now, you had to deal with this with the Anthony Davis situation when you were the Laker head coach, and the Kings always seem to be in the middle of trade rooms. As a coach, how do you keep the young guys focused at task at hand?
Yeah, control what you can, and it's easier said than done. But I've been through this as a player. You guys have been through this as a player. So it's what I tell these young men as they're playing and those rumors are around. And at the end of the day, that's the front office's job. And it's out of players' control. It's out of my control. So we're all on the same page as far as what we're trying to build here. But whether players are in or out of trades, that's off of us. So when we're here, we come into work and we play for the Kings, and what's best for the Kings, is how we make our decisions.
Well, I'm glad I got both of you guys on at the same time, because it's a Sports Center clip that's going on right now online that I want both of you guys to take a listen to.
Iowa State, Bramlett 18 points, 10 boards to lead Arizona. By the way, Arizona freshmen Richard Jefferson and Reuben Douglas missed the game after Coach Olson sent them back to Tucson earlier in the day for what he called childish behavior unbefitting the standards of the University of Arizona.
I don't.
That's pretty good.
Do you have a question?
Child behavior, like what child behavior? What were you doing? Were you drinking on White Claws again? What was you doing, Richard?
I was only 18. Luke, do you remember that?
I remember that. Yeah, I didn't get sent home, but I do remember that your mother called me to see if I could leave her tickets since you were no longer in Las Vegas with us.
child behavior.
Yeah,
I mean,
and this okay. So I'll tell everybody what happened. Basically, we were at MGM Grand, and they have these long hallways. Our rooms were at the end. So a bunch of freshmen, being 18-year-old kids that we just might have like ran down, banging on all the doors. We probably did it one too many times. The reason why Luke wasn't in that is because he broke his foot. So the funny part for us is that Luke was still crutching down the hallway as all of these people slowly started coming out trying to see what was going on, and subsequently that got me sent home, and I never had to learn that lesson again.
Well, yeah, and the other funny part was that Mike Wright, who was better than all of us back then, he was on, and you know, but Mike didn't get sent home. They acted as if they didn't see that he was part of it.
Yeah, well,
I mean, Coach Luke, listen, child behavior though, like just child behavior, and for you to double down on it really makes it even worse. Talking about I was an 18-year-old kid. No, you're a young man at that point.
No.
Know right from wrong. You know right from wrong. So trying to justify saying as an 18-year-old kid, like we're not buying it. You're a young man at the time. You know right from wrong.
Well, I just want to make sure that everybody understands that I'm not up here acting brand new. I have always been a child. So thank you so much, Luke, for joining us. I apologize for having to deal with Kendrick Perkins. And Perk, good job bringing out that little clip.
Happy birthday to Phil Jackson too, greatest coach to ever coach in the NBA.
Amen.
Appreciate you guys having me on.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Appreciate you.